Hi! Hey guys! Wow, this coloring is very interesting. I put on some lipstick for you today, a new color, just because I wanted to have fun. And I honestly been wearing lipstick around all day for no one else but me, because it makes me feel good. So if you're watching this, it's day 4 of the 7-day intro to food freedom. Feel free to say hi throughout, say your name, where you're from, all that good stuff. So today's day 4, and I told you that I would discuss how movement played a role in my recovery from binge eating. So we're gonna get into that today. So movement, I think before it became something meaningful to me, I just used exercise as a way for me to lose weight, burn calories, the ambiguous get healthy, get fit, punish myself for like a big day of eating. What else? Just all of these very seemingly superficial reasons. And ultimately, exercise was a response to the hate and dissatisfaction that I had with how my body looked. Let me repeat that. Exercise, movement, used to be a response to the hate and dissatisfaction I had with how my body looked. Just gonna put that straight out there. Honestly, and it was inconsistent. Like, it wasn't even something that I could stick with. It became this thing that I would be like, I'm gonna work out later, and then just not because I didn't feel like it. Anyone raise your hand or give me some kind of emoji if you ever do that. And you know, I would make up for it later by eating less food or something like that. But secretly, I would feel guilty for not doing what I said I was gonna do over and over and over again. Hey guys, what's up? I'm talking all things binge eating, and specifically how movement helped me recover from binge eating. So if you're interested in that, welcome, hang out. What's your name? Say hi, we're here to hang out. So I only started to feel the mental and energetic effects of movement when my mood and my mental health were on the struggle bus. I was driving the struggle bus, let's be honest. I would sleep for hours and hours, night and day, and never feel rested. Like, I was sincerely struggling with depression and anxiety, and binge eating was interwoven into that. If you haven't seen the previous 3 days of videos, go and check them out, and I discuss this in more detail. Hey Rose, welcome Cindy, welcome guys, welcome. So good to see you. So, where was I? So I felt physically tired, I was mentally tired, all my energy was zapped from the moment my eyes opened in the morning, and that was really because I was just battling my thoughts and my feelings all day long. So anyway, movement was just this means to get fit. And so it didn't hold this meaning for me until I made the connection of how strongly it impacted my mental and physical well-being, as well as my energy levels, as well as a few other things I'm about to get into. So if anything is resonating with you guys, or if you have more specific questions as I'm telling you my story, please feel free to ask them, and I will definitely get to them at the end. And if you're watching this back, just write the comment anyway, and I'll still be able to see it, and I'll be able to answer it. So I remember specifically one day I was able to drag myself to a hot yoga class. And for some reason, after this class, I felt for the first time, or at least like for the first time that I was conscious of it, I felt my mood lift. And if you've ever experienced depression or just like ups and downs in your mood, you know it comes in waves. And you know when it lifts, you feel lighter. Like there's just a lightness. You feel more like yourself, you can think clearer, there's, just that heaviness is removed from you, maybe you feel more energized. So I made that connection for the first time after that yoga class, and it wasn't anything special about that yoga class, although that yoga teacher is an awesome teacher, and I still know her to this day, and this was about 10 years ago. but it was the moving my body. So when I made the connection of how movement gave me this mood shift, I started intentionally moving my body to help myself with this. I started to walk on the treadmill after long, stressful days at work instead of going home, sitting on the couch, and just going straight into a binge. I started to change the reason that I used movement. So what I explained to you before, where movement was just this means to burn calories, to punish myself, to get fit, get healthy, get a six-pack, blah, 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 all the things, I began to see the big picture. Like, I saw movement for all of the benefits that it was giving me. And honestly, I say this all the time, movement is medicine. Movement is an incredible mood shifter, even to this day. Like, I'll have days where I'm more tired, lethargic, my mood is dipped, I'm overworked, maybe I'm burning the candle at both ends, or I'm just human and we have days that are harder, where our mood is down. And I will push myself to go lightly on a walk, still listening to my body and what it needs. Sometimes it'll be a run, sometimes it'll be a swim. Like, it actually doesn't matter, but I'm doing it so that I can shift how I feel. It really has nothing to do with the exterior. Cindy said, I totally need movement to feel good mentally. Girl, every day, still to this day. This isn't just like a work for me in the past and now I'm changed it. No, this is lifelong for me. So, where was I? So yeah, movement became my number one tool to do daily, to literally like pull myself out of depression, pull myself out of anxiety, and also to battle this bitch of binge eating. That's what I'm gonna call it. She was a bitch. And no matter how basic that movement was, walking, dancing, stretching, it made a difference and it gave that movement a bigger purpose. And so that bigger purpose is what got me to be consistent and do it, because it became a daily thing for me. And it wasn't like this, like I said, it's not about it being the hardest workout. It's not about it pushing your body to the limit every single day. It's about listening to yourself, but making it be this thing that can be consistent. And I'm going to tell you why in 3 examples, 3 reasons. Yes, consistent, persistent pursuit. I like that. It's got like some rhythm to it. Consistent, persistent pursuit. Love it. All right, so the first thing that I noticed, movement made my mood shift into a lighter place and boosted my energy for a few hours. So in my binge eating program, we talk about triggers. What is triggering your binge urge? What is triggering this craving? And so since personally, often my binge urges were triggered by me feeling tired, me feeling low in mood, me having disempowered thoughts about anything, truly. Both of these triggers were relieved and released for me. For the time being, it would probably last like a few hours, I would say, this post-exercise effect, but my binge urges wouldn't be triggered because I would have more energy from moving my body. I would feel better, like I was getting better circulation, I was breathing deeper, my mind was doing something as well, and it was not ruminating in those anxiety-driven binge urge thoughts, and it lightened my mood. So both of those triggers would kind of be not even a thing when I had moved my body. So I wanted to feel good. I wanted to continue feeling good. So this actually diminished and decreased the intensity of my binge urges. So that's like one way that movement helped attack the binge eating and help me recover from it. The second thing that I realized is that what came with a daily movement practice was confidence and self-integrity. Now, this wasn't necessarily confidence about my appearance. It was more like by taking all of the rules of what a workout should look like, or how intense it should be, or how long it should be, which is what usually stopped me in the past from working out, because I would think like, oh, I used to do this, or I did that yesterday, there's no way I can do that today, I just can't. And then that would be the end of it. So it wasn't about crushing the workout, it was for a different goal. The confidence wasn't about how my body looked, but about how I could do things that my mind was telling me that I couldn't. And I was shutting that down in the moment. I was shutting down those false thoughts in the moment by doing something just a little bit more than my brain was telling me that I could in that moment. So if it was, let's just say I was walking, I was like, oh, I can't walk, another mile. I would walk a few more steps just to show myself that I could. With lifting weights, I would push myself and do a few more reps because I wanted to show my mind that I could do it, and that it was telling me that I needed to stop and that I couldn't, but it was actually not true. So those thoughts paralleled a lot for me when it came to binge eating. So I almost use movement to train my mind to help me in that way. The integrity came with doing what I said I was going to do, and that comes back to the consistency part, Cindy. So when you tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna work out today, and then don't. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but how often are you telling yourself, I'm gonna commit to doing something to help myself, and then drop the ball, and then don't show up for yourself? How often do you say, I am going to do this healthy behavior today to help overcome my binge eating, and then don't show up for yourself? If you're doing that over and over, and that's more of your norm versus doing what you say you're gonna do, following through on your word, no matter what area of life that is, you're either gonna weaken that integrity or strengthen that integrity. So me saying, I'm gonna move my body today, no matter what it looks like, no matter how long, I am going to do it. I'm gonna start. And keeping that promise to myself showed me that I was strong enough to do that. So building the confidence and the self-integrity is so freaking powerful, you guys. And I'm telling you, you could start with something. I mean, movement is powerful in many, many ways, but as we get into in the warrior evolution, this starts small. This starts with saying, I'm gonna make my bed every day. This starts with saying, I'm gonna clean up the dishes in the sink every night before I go to bed, and doing it and following through on it. That's how you show yourself that you keep your word, that your word is valuable, and that you are worth showing up for. All of that goes into this, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Even in the small ways, it showed me that if I could do it in one area of my life, I could do it in other areas too. I hope you don't mind that I'm reading from notes, because I like speaking, but sometimes my brain goes blank, so I like to have some notes to just review. And also this whole thing is going to be sent out in an email later, so if you're just catching it now, don't worry, you're not missing it. You're going to get the email, and it's going to go into detail too. If you guys are just joining, hey, what's up? I'm talking all things binge eating, and I know it's an awesome topic, but listen, it's real, so we're going to talk about it. And I'm talking about how movement was really powerful in my recovery. So feel free to hang out, ask questions, chill, just listen, whatevs. So the third thing that I wanted to say is, I think the first two things that movement gave me were amazing. But I think maybe the most powerful thing that moving my body every single day during recovery taught me was that practicing being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yesterday, I talked about minding the gap between having a binge urge, which is really fucking uncomfortable if you've ever had one, and going into a binge. There's a gap. It may start out like this, almost seemingly nothing, and then we work to open that gap up. And that gap can be really freaking uncomfortable, because usually we're binge eating to get rid of a weight or numb something uncomfortable in life that we just aren't ready to handle. But moving your body to an extent listen, like I love dancing and I could probably dance for hours and hours and never be uncomfortable. But at some point, your body is gonna feel some discomfort. It's gonna feel out of breath. Your body is gonna start sweating. Your heart rate is gonna start beating faster. Your muscles are gonna start burning. You're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I need to stop. Like I can't do another rep. My muscles are gonna fail. Like my legs are gonna cave, something like that. If you are walking for a distance, if you're running, after a while, it gets uncomfortable, right? And then the mind starts going. The mind, the mental discomfort. Oh, she's my favorite. She starts to say things like, oh, this is so hard. I don't know if I can do this. I'm too weak. I can't do this. I can't. What movement taught me was that I can feel uncomfortable things, I can feel uncomfortable emotions, I can feel physical discomfort and handle it. I'm not gonna die, even though it feels like something bad is gonna happen. My mind might convince me like, oh my gosh, we can't go another step, otherwise like something bad's gonna happen. It's gonna be the end of me. It's that fear-based thought talking. We kind of talked about it with the binge urges too. So moving, being in discomfort allowed me to practice being with that, continuing to move even if it's uncomfortable, that I'm stronger than my mind is telling me that I am in that little moment. That discomfort does not mean death. It does not mean the end of me. It does not mean that I will lose control, and that I can sit with discomfort and give it a bigger purpose, because ultimately discomfort is growth. Discomfort in challenging ourselves is growing. It's stepping outside of our comfort zone, is how we break through whatever little limiting belief we've been keeping ourselves inside of and stepping forward. So if I could be with discomfort during movement, survive, and even grow and feel better afterwards, I can do this with my binge eating. I can sit in the discomfort of a binge urge and not have to act on it. I can break my diet rules one at a time, even though it's scary AF. I can show myself where I feel better, what foods make me feel better. I can give myself unconditional permission to eat, even though at first that was definitely scary, and be with myself through that practice and break my dieting mentality and break my binge eating rules and break my fears and be with myself lovingly, supportingly through a binge urge, because ultimately everything always passes. And it's showing that to yourself over and over and over again. So this is why movement is a daily practice for me. It's a daily practice for the warriors. It's a daily practice in the warrior evolution. Whether you choose to do a warrior workout or you choose to go and you want to take a walk because that's where you're at today, that's what your body feels like is going to be best for it, then that's what you do. The point is showing up. The point is consistency. The point is finding something that you truly do love to do. And I believe that everybody out there has some sort of movement that you love to do. And maybe you haven't discovered it yet, or maybe it's long forgotten. But I will definitely encourage you and push you to step into that again, or step towards that again. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and asking your questions. You guys are awesome. If anyone has any questions, like feel free to throw them up on the comments right here, or if you're watching this later, drop them in the comments below. You know the drill. I'm going to be sending out this replay in an email. And if you haven't signed up for the 7-day intro to food freedom, which is free, it's free. It's a lot of me talking and giving you all this free information, which is awesome. Then sign up for that. You just go to thewarriorevolution.com, email, name, and then you'll get on the email list and start getting the 7-day emails. Otherwise, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, Van, Carmel, Debbie, Millie, hi, Body Fit, Cindy, Margaret. Thank you guys for coming. So good to see you. So tomorrow, before I forget, let me just pull it up real quick. So tomorrow is day 5, and I am going to be talking to you guys about 3 mistakes that people make over and over during binge eating recovery. So we're going to call them out, we're going to call out the mistakes, we're going to learn from them, and then we're going to step forward doing something different, because when you know better, you do better. That's a quote by Maya Angelou. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Bye.